This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Live from the heart of Washington State,
where mountains meet the sea.
From vibrant city streets.
Sinabi selfie atop Seattle's Space Needle.
To quiet lakeside retreats.
Fish for salmon at the beach or skip rocks at Deception Pass.
Take a ferry across Puget Sound.
Welcome to Washington State, the land of wonder.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all members and listeners around the world. We thank you for joining us for yet another edition of Ever Growing Evergreen. I am your host for today, Brother Marlon Taduran from the local congregation of Puyallup, Washington. And we have a very exciting topic to share with all of you today, because on today's show, our topic is the right way, and that is spelled W-R-I-T-E. Yes, we're talking about creative writing. What is creative writing and what is the creative process? Well, we have a very special guest with us here today to explain that to us. She is actually an author, so very excited to talk with her later on the show. So don't miss that in our segment. Not only that, we'll also have an update on news and activities going on here in the district. So don't miss that. And we will also have a very special hidden treasure segment later on in our program. It's something a little bit different. It's still definitely hidden, but it won't be hidden for long if you stay tuned. Okay, we have our ongoing hashtag, boom, boom, hashtag challenge. You can comment in the chat and be sure to leave your hashtag of your local congregation's name. The winning congregation will be the one with the most hashtags at the end of the program. So we're going to announce our winners for the week of August 1st. So without further ado, here are our winners for the hashtag challenge. Coming in at number 3 is the local congregation of Oak Harbor. All right, congratulations, Oak Harbor. Number 2 is the local congregation of Federal Way. Congratulations, local congregation of Federal Way. You're at number 2 for our hashtag challenge. And coming in at number 1, drum roll please. Awesome. We have the local congregation of Everett. Awesome. Good job, local congregation of Everett. You are number 1 for the hashtag challenge of August 1st. So who will be the winner for today's show? Be sure to join in on the hashtag challenge and leave the name of your congregation so that they can be counted towards being the winner of this very prestigious challenge we have here at Ever Growing Evergreen. Okay, without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest for today's show. Sister, if you could, I'll give you a little bit time to get a little bit adjusted there. But if you could, sister, if you could tell us your name, your local congregation, and if you have any shout outs, now is your opportunity to do so.
Yes, hello. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Anna Ednolino from the local congregation of Kent. Excited to be here. Shout out to my locale. Shout out to my family. Told them to watch today. And just shout out to pretty much my village, which is what we're going to kind of talk about soon. So I'm happy to be here again and to be able to talk about something so meaningful.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sister Anna. I was actually in the local congregation of Kent last week. Very awesome congregation, beautiful chapel. So if you're ever in the area and you need to attend worship service, local of Kent. It's where it's at. So give them a
It
visit
is
over
where it's at. Yes.
All right. So we also want the chat to get involved in our discussion today. So if you could, we extend this question to you. What is one of your creative outlets? So, what do you do for creativity? Are you an artist? Do you like to write music? Do you make art? We'd love to know what some of your creative outlets are, and describe to us what your creative process is in doing those things. So we'd love to hear your responses, and we'll try to read those all during our discussion today in our segment. So if you are just tuning in, we are going to talk about creative writing the right way, as the title of our program is today. So we're here with Sister Anna. She's going to help us as we dive into this topic. So let's get a little bit more with the details. So, Sister Anna, what is your creative outlet?
This is a very new creative outlet for me. I think, this was something that I never imagined or saw myself doing, which is kind of writing. And so specifically though, writing children's books and writing things that can help children like understand and just understand like the meaning of life and really basic life values. And so again, it's a very new creative outlet for me. The only kind of form of writing I've done before was, writing music. And even then it was just like for funsies. It wasn't really, it was just for fun. And so, mine right now in this season of my life is creative writing around, children's books. And I'm excited to talk more about it and dive into it with you today.
That's so cool. So children's book, I mean, how and when did you like get introduced to it? Did it just pop up and you're like, hey, let's give this a try? Or was there something that sparked the moment?
It's so funny because so it really kind of started more so from like, I often think about like my legacy and like what I'd want to leave behind. I often think about how books and like writing and documents and things like that are things that kind of stay around forever over the years. And so mixed with my experience in teaching. So I was on here actually years ago. I'm talking about my career in teaching. I used to be a teacher.
Yes, I remember that. I think I was the
Yeah,
host for that show too.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
That's too funny. What a coincidence. Yes. So, it's, I think a mix of those two things. I was like, like how cool would it be to write a children's book? And often I would be reading these children's books to my students in the classroom. And I'm like, oh, like how cool, how simple would it be to like do this thing? And so it's been always a thought in my mind, but actually executing it was like a huge kind of step for me, which is interesting because as you may imagine, children's books are a lot simpler. If it were to be like a whole novel, I don't know that I could do that, but some people are super skilled in that. But for me, it was really just like teaching children and focusing on the really basic principles of life and just values of life. And so the first book that I ended up writing and publishing was all about having a village and having a community in life and how important that is. To answer your question, it just kind of fell in my lap / a mix of like different experiences. And I saw it more as like something fun to do versus a whole book being published and me becoming an author. It was just more like a fun, cool thing,
Oh wow. The pictures they're showing right now, is that the book that you're talking about in particular?
Yes, it is the book I'm talking about. It's called The Village and Me. And it's such a new, like recent published book. I just published it, I want to say a month or maybe even less than a month ago. Again, writing it more so for like something to leave behind for my family, as we get older in this life, and something to like almost tribute to my family as well. And not even thinking about like publishing it and putting it on Amazon or putting it on a website. Sorry. So like it was just super crazy and super fast for it to happen. And it's just been amazing since, and learning that it's something that I'm really enjoying.
Congratulations. That's very very
Thank
cool
you.
to have your book published and to be able to share your story with so many different audiences, and they get to share in that those pent up like emotions and stuff that you want
Mhm.
children to be able to express themselves. So can you take us through like your creative process? Like where do you find like inspiration, to
Mhm.
write your book, other content that you work on? What does that look like?
I mean, I often try to think of, what is low lift? And I think that not because I want to like cut corners. I think that because life is busy. I'm sure a lot of people listening right now can understand how busy and fast life can be from day to day. And so in my mind, first my creative outlet was like, okay, what's low lift and what's doable for me, right? Like I knew right off the bat a whole novel wasn't quite where I was right now in this season. And so that mixed with like what inspires me. And so this book, or this children's book I wrote, really shows a lot of like where the inspo came from. And it was like, what is my why in this life? And what do I want people to get out of this? Like, who is this for? Right, first you should probably name who it's for. For me, it was for the world, it was for children, it was for my family. And so um I think having all of those combined is kind of what took me through the process, at least to start the process. Um and for me, just so to keep it fun and not so like a job, or like not so stressful, because it still was a hobby, right? Like writing is still a hobby. And so to not make it so like stressful and intense, I honestly worked on it when I wanted to. I chose when I wanted to. I chose when I was like in the mood to like keep going and keep writing. And when cool ideas came down or came to me, I would work on it or I would jot it down. I wouldn't do it when I knew that like I had things to do or I was stressed. Just so I almost kind of like listening to where like what your body wants and like when you want to work on it, if that makes sense. And not making it become such a like chore or a task, because at the end of the day it's a hobby, right? It's a hobby, it's an interest, it's something that like sparks you. And so we don't want to put in kind of a negative pull around it, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Because, like, you don't want it to feel like a burden. And, this is like a delicate story. You're sharing it with children. So you don't want that negativity to like creep into, your writing. So,
Mhm.
I can hear that. Like, you want to do it when the stress levels are low and you have times to like regulate your emotions when you're writing your story. So how would you say emotions played throughout the creative process? Like, what kind of things were you feeling as you're writing down these words and, showing the illustrations to go with them? Like, how did that all feel to see it like all start to come together?
Yeah, it's funny because you hear from like authors, and it's just weird to say that like I'm an author still, but like often you hear from authors like it's a roller coaster. And I cannot emphasize how true that is, because like there's moments where you're like, I think at the beginning it was exciting, it was fun, it was cool, it was scary, but it was mostly fun. And so in the beginning it was like, oh, like this is so cool, it's coming into play. When you start having the illustrations, it's like, whoa, this is becoming real. And then getting your first kind of like proof, like a proof is just your first printed copy, to see what it looks like. So you're physically holding this thing in your hand that you've been working on and you've poured your heart into. It's definitely such a surreal feeling, and then there's another step where it's like it's actually live online, that people in the world are getting it, and they have my book in their hands, in their classrooms, in their homes. And so that's a whole nother feeling in itself. So definitely a roller coaster, I will say, as I saw little mess ups here and there. It's quite easy to become a perfectionist when you become an author. And, the smallest little things, that can, sometimes take a toll, right? Sometimes it can be like, oh man, like it's stressful and I need to re-edit it. I need to submit another proof. And I'll tell you right now, to be very transparent, I probably have like 12 different proofs in my home, all with different edits and things. And but I don't know, at the end of the day, it's so rewarding and it's just so cool. And like, I almost sometimes feel like I have imposter syndrome. But it's super awesome. Much of a roller coaster, but a really good roller coaster.
Wow. So yeah, it sounds like you definitely had like your ups and downs during the whole creative process and becoming an author and getting your book together. Yeah, I hear that you had like, those challenges and stuff, but what would you say was the most challenging part during the whole writing process? And was it just coming up with the idea? Was it getting the illustrations done? Was it getting it published? What would you say was the most challenging part of, making this book a reality?
Yeah. I think it was exactly that, making it a reality. I think, when you're inspired and you have a vision for a thing, right? Whether you're painting, whether you're writing, whatever that creative outlet is, like when you have a vision and it doesn't necessarily meet your vision, it's easy to get frustrated, right? It's easy to be like, okay, wait, I did, like, for me, again, being a perfectionist, it was something as simple as like that frame and the illustration in the background, I need it to be circle, like something like just to that extent of like, again, perfectionism and like detail. But again, it's your thing that you own and you want it to really represent you well. And so I think that is a challenge of like, number one, just like not being so perfectionisty, if that's a word. And then number two, just having the confidence that like this is cool. It's great. I don't know that everyone's going to recognize every little thing that you're tripping over. And so I think those two, I think, were the biggest challenges. I had to just like trust and be like, this is a cool thing, Anna. Publish it, share it with the world. And if there's little things you find here and there, like it's okay. Like it's okay. This was a fun thing. It was meant to be a fun thing to share with the world. So
That's awesome. So Anna, she has her book, The Village, which is available online if you'd like to get yourself a copy. So now that you're a published author, Stan, that's such a cool title
it's
to
so
have.
crazy.
What's next? Are we looking at like maybe another book soon, or what's on the horizon for Sister Anna after becoming, a published author?
Totally. Something that has come out of all of this since the book has been published is the representation that the book has. And so often, my heritage is Filipino, like I'm half Filipino, half German, Irish. And so I recognized really quickly, not even in the classroom, but just in general, if you were to look up Filipino heritage, multicultural books online right now, there's not very many, especially very many that represents our culture and our heritage. And that has become very apparent in the like since the book has been published. And so that all the more makes me like, ooh, like I want to represent this heritage and my culture and my upbringing and many other people's upbringing through books. And I want children to feel more seen through my books. So yes, the answer is yes. There's plans to have more, and I don't know necessarily yet what that looks like. I feel like when you've went through a whole creative, like, how do I say it? Creative block, or not creative block. Like when you're done with publishing and you're done with the thing, there's a moment of like, ooh, like let me take a breath and, take it all in. Cause again, it feels so surreal, but definitely plans on jumping back into it and hopefully writing another one. Yeah, just again, for that whole representation piece is something I really want to keep building on, because that has been so impactful for so many who own the book now.
That's exciting. So yeah, we'll be eagerly anticipating, but like you said, take your time, Do it when your mind and heart is in the right place, and
Mhm.
I'm sure you'll make another special story to share with all the children of the world, and I'm sure they're looking forward to enjoying the story that you have out now, and future ones that you have to share with us. Uh, the chat is chiming in, and they're all about their own creative processes and things they like to do. We have one here from Sister Den from also the local of Kent. She says her creative outlet is building coaching programs with focus on confidence. So yeah, it's nice to have confidence in the things you do. So if you're looking for some inspiration in that department, find Sister Den in the local of Kent. Okay. Also, we have here from, let's see, Brother Von Torres. He says creative outlets, he says they change over the decades, taking photos of sunsets during teenage years, playing with your kids, like building toys during early parenthood, then caretaking of home as a homeowner. So, wow, yeah, it changes over a lifetime. I don't know. For me, it's been kind of the same. I have hobbies that I'm still into to this very day. Sometimes you may look at me and be like, "Whoa, he still acts like a kid," and he's already in his 40s. But you can never take the child out of us. That innocence and playfulness. So yeah, that's thank you for the input there, Brother Vaughn. A lot to take in there and think about. But yeah, so before we close with our segment today, Sister Anna, what advice do you have for others that may want to get into creative writing or publishing a book? Like, what kind of tips or advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I think through this whole process, for me to even start it, it was like a just do it, Anna kind of moment. And like sometimes you just have to do it. I know it sounds like crazy, but it's like sometimes if you're feeling like you're gravitating to a thing or you're wanting to try a thing and it's a feeling that's come up more than once, like just try it. Worst that can happen is like you're not into it. And so just try it and, keep building on it and just have fun. I think that's the biggest thing is like, don't forget that like these creative outlets are meant for fun and it's meant to bring you peace and fun through such a, you know, busy life. And yeah, so that's really my biggest advice is like, have fun and just try the thing, do the thing.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that answer. It's just like you have all these ideas that start building up in your mind, and it's like sometimes you just never act upon them, and then you have that regret. It's like, oh, I wish I tried it, but you never knew if it was going to go through or not. But yeah, like Sister Anna says, just try it, and it could work out, and you'll be glad that you did, and you could be able to share that gift with other people who may also enjoy your creative outlets. Okay, so that was a great discussion today. We thank Sister Anna for being with us in our show again. She's always a welcome guest here on our show. But we're going to move on to our next segment now from the Needle. We're going to talk about past activities, future activities, and community activities that are happening here in Washington State. So for our past activities, on August 9th, Burien held their 25th anniversary celebration. So happy anniversary, local congregation of Burien. Happy 25. Also on August 14th, the Tacoma Kadiwa monthly meetup occurred. They had a physical fitness activity. So they are getting their bodies moving in the local congregation of Tacoma. So good job, Kadiwa. I hope you worked up a big sweat during that activity. For future activities, on the 16th, that's tomorrow, we have the local congregation of Bremerton having their anniversary celebration at 12:30 at the Bremerton Chapel. And also happening tomorrow, we have an all officers meeting by region at 6 p.m. For more info, please contact your local leadership. On August 23 at 4 p.m., we have a Binhi monthly meetup. It is the back to school edition, back to school and booklet monthly meetup. So they're combining forces for that monthly meetup. It looks like it is life skills cooking for the booklet side. So we got back to school for the Binhi and life skills cooking for the booklet. So lots of fun activities going on in the district. And this will be happening at the Tacoma Chapel outdoor grounds. So plenty of space there at the Tacoma Chapel compound. So come and join in on all the fun. Again, that's August 23 at 4 p.m. For community activities, these are not sponsored by the radio show, but just so that people know what's going on in Washington State, in case you are visiting or just want some things to do over the weekends. We have our county and state fairs. Check online for more info. August 7th through 16th is the Clark County Fair. So if you're in Clark County, you can attend the fair. It looks like tomorrow's the last day for that, so don't miss out. August 13th through 22 is the Northwest Washington Fair. So yes, before August is over, there's a fairs happening here in Washington State that you can join in on. Okay, looks like we're running short on time. We're gonna go here to the comments and just read a few more comments we have from the chat. Happy anniversary to Michelle and Charles Ruiz from #Tacoma. That is from Sister Blessing Guillermo. Happy anniversary, you two. From #Birian, happy birthday po to Ka June Maninang of Covington and Ka Philip Miranda of Wapato. So happy birthday to both of you. Another happy birthday greeting to Brother Angel Casanova. All right, so happy birthday, brother. Okay, let's see. Oh, we have one from Sister Allison Villanueva. She's saying, watching from Athens, Greece. So she says, hello po from Athens, Greece. And we have one from Sister Rosie. Says, hello po to all the brethren of the Ecclesiastical District of Washington State. Thank you. Hello to you too. Thank you for joining in on our program today. So if you love what you heard today on our program today, join us next week as we continue to explore outlets and how they can help to inspire us. So we're still on the creative train, looking at different outlets. What will it be next week? Well, tune in next week to find out and join in on all the fun we have here at the program. So to be sure you don't miss us, there are several ways to tune in. One is through our YouTube channel. Type in INCRadio DZEM 954. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. You can also catch the show at INCRadio.org. So with that said, we want to give a special thank you to Brother Eduardo Manalo, our Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Ramil Regino, our District Supervising Minister. Gotta catch my breath there. Brother Relly Rivera, our Assistant District Supervising Minister, Brother Roger Manzanilla, our CFO Overseer, and Brother Wally Tarai, our Station Manager. The show would not be made possible without you all. And with that, from Ever Growing Evergreen, keep growing and stay rooted. Okay, see you later. Bye.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954.